next poem, Daffodil. Your book is not here, no? You can go there, it is there on the table. And just have that.
When that Photoshop is in last chapter, no? In computer, Photoshop.
Photoshop? In class 9? No.
Then, in which class is that?
It is in other classes, 7, 8. 7, not in 7, in 8 it is. It's not in 9. In 9th it is not there.
And there not what is Photoshop?
Because in your book it was not there, in the new book it is there.
We won't be taught that.
If it is not there, so how you will be taught?
Photoshop 8th class can do? It is quite difficult.
No, basic things they will learn. It's not that difficult. So let us start the poem. Read someone the box, Daffodils. Read Gibran, the box.
Six daffodils by William Wordsworth. I wandered only as a cloud that floats on high over wells and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden.
Read the box.
Box, I said.
Page 25.
William Wordsworth. No study of English literature is complete without the reading of William Wordsworth, who is perhaps the greatest of the Romantic poets. It was he who rallied for the use of everyday language, common people and things in poetry. Wordsworth was a great lover of nature and his poem was inspired by a real-life experience. Once when on a walk with his sister, he came upon a sight of a belt of daffodils beside a lake. With the wind blowing over the flowers, the sight of this vast expanse of yellow flowers inspired Wordsworth to write this remarkable poem. He goes on to tell the reader that long after he had this experience, he made memory of the sight and left his spirit when he felt dejected or depressed. This well-known poem is a eulogy to the restorative powers of nature.
Okay, so in this poem actually the poet has described an incident from his life. Who is the poet? William Wordsworth. He has described an incident from his life in which he was taking a walk beside a lake. Once in his life he was taking a walk beside a lake and he was quite sad. Means a little bit he was in a bad mood and pensive mood and he was taking a walk beside the lake and suddenly he sees something. He sees so many daffodils there beside the lake and this scene fills his heart with joy. At that time he was his heart was filled with joy. He was so overjoyed because he was in some kind of bad mood and when he saw this kind of scenery with hundreds of daffodils lying in a line and the scene was so beautiful that his heart felt so, this was so soothing. It was like giving the sense of coziness and he was so relaxed to see that sight that he wrote this poem and he described this thing. So in this poem we'll see how the basic themes are that nature has the healing power. If somebody is in bad mood or if somebody is devastated and not feeling good, so one can visit different like gardens or one can have a tour and that can completely change your mind and that can completely fill you with positive energy. Okay, so in this poem he has described the incident and he has described how nature can be helpful in getting joy and peace in our lives. Okay, so very beautiful poem. It's just 4 stanzas but it's rich with literary devices and rich with meaning, rich with themes. So the main themes are nature's healing power. He has talked about nature's healing power and the other thing that nature is a source of eternal joy and nature has the ability to give joy to someone's soul. Like if you are in a bad mood or if you are depressed or if you are in such kind of state, you can visit different sites and you can go and visit gardens and such kind of natural scenes can fill your heart with joy. So he has explained this in this poem. The first, in this poem, the poem is divided in 4 stanzas, and the rhyme scheme is, what is the rhyme scheme? Can anyone tell? Okay, after reading we'll decide. The first stanza is starting. Yes, A B C C. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So in the first poem he is saying that once he was wandering, means he was just moving around like this only, aimlessly. Wandering means just roaming around. So he was just roaming around like this only, like a cloud. Here in this line he has shown his relation with nature like a cloud. So he is connecting himself to the cloud, means he is showing the connection between a man and nature. So he is saying that like a cloud he was moving, like clouds move from one place to the other. Similarly, once in his life he was roaming aimlessly from one place to other as a cloud that floats high over the vales and hills. So as a cloud, like a cloud, as clouds float over the vales and hills, vales mean valleys and hills. Similarly, one day he was also moving around like this only. So most probably he was not in a good mood, like he was tensed or he was depressed, and he was just moving around like this only, moving like a cloud without any aim. So I wandered lonely as a cloud. In the first line, simile has been used. He is comparing himself to a cloud, and he is also showing his connection between himself and nature. He is showing connection between man and nature by comparing himself with a cloud. Okay, so I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd. So he was in a bad mood and suddenly he sees something. What did he see? He saw a crowd. Crowd means, suppose he was in a lonely state, means he was in a bad state, he was in a bad mood, he was lonely, he was just moving like this only, and suddenly he saw a crowd, means suddenly he saw a company. Like you can see the immediate change. He was alone, he was lonely, and suddenly, suppose you are lonely and just moving like this, and suddenly you see a crowd, means it is just opposite thing, means you have got some company. So suddenly he sees a crowd, but that crowd was not of people, that crowd was of flowers. Which flowers? Daffodils. So he was moving aimlessly like this, and suddenly he sees a crowd. And what crowd? A host of golden daffodils. He sees a crowd, a host. Host means, host, you know what is host, Ilva? Who receives a guest,
yes,
like who welcomes the guest. So he is saying that those bunch of flowers were the crowd and also host, as if they were calling him. Okay, so he was alone and suddenly he saw a crowd, he saw a host for him. Who were there? A bunch of flowers called daffodils. So when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. So golden color beautiful daffodils he saw suddenly, and in a large number when he was moving alone. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So where were these flowers? These flowers were beside the lake and beneath the trees. So he is just, you can just picturize this, like you are moving and suddenly you saw golden color flowers beside the lake. How nice it would be. Beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. And there was also breeze, you know, wind. There was also breeze, and the flowers were moving. Fluttering and dancing means they were just moving. Okay, so he has explained what he saw. He was alone and he was moving aimlessly, and suddenly he saw someone to accompany him, and what was that? It was a bunch of flowers, golden colored daffodil flowers, and they were beside the lake, beneath the trees, and they were also moving with the breeze. Breeze was blowing and they were also moving. So in the first line he has used simile, he has used the word as, which is